We're back with another exciting episode in which we see what I remember when no one is here to prompt my memories. Check out the Patreon for extended versions of every episode and bonus content. My name is Ashley Clements, and this is the Look Back Diaries. But maybe I should be singing Happy Birthday, except I can't because it's copywritten. But this episode is called The Birthday Party Battle Plan. Whose birthday? Is it Bing? I think it's Bing's birthday party. Is that right? Is that right? Let's find out because I don't know whose birthday it is. I know that Wickham's here. And I think there's like a diagram of a chicken. These are my memories. Is Ashley insane? Is there a diagram of a chicken? Let's find out. Okay.
First, the good news. It's Bingley's birthday.
I was right about whose birthday it was. That's good news. I'm not senile. I don't even know what he was holding. That may have just been improvised. I don't remember. Maybe I'll try to find a script and see if I can remember. But it feels like a West thing. I don't know. Clearly early in the day because I look dry. My makeup looks good. Good for me. I did that myself. Oh, this is probably how there's a chicken. Okay, clearly it's written in because there's a line about it. So, yeah, I don't remember why they're just randomly peacock feathers. Although it's a little sexual the way he rubs it on his face. Or do we just interpret everything he does as sexual because he looks like that? It's just, he's handsome. I actually would love that scene. I mean, we could never have that scene, but it would be really fun to have a scene with Wes and DVG. And also, this is the first appearance of this whiteboard. Just some new props for Katie Most to come up with.
Well, there could be like an area where the parents are, and then there could be an area where the real party is.
Feels like something he's done before, doesn't it?
You know, she may already be on top of that, but I'll check with Caroline. Either way, you're coming with me even though Darcy will be there?
Oh, Darcy couldn't stop me from coming. But if he doesn't want to see me, I think he's the one
that feels like a lie.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know that he was ever planning on coming. I'm also realizing that he has to sort of like slouch down to be on camera with me because we were framed for my height, which is something we will adjust later for Darcy.
I'll see you at the party.
That, I think, is the most affection we ever see between those two. That little kiss on the cheek.
The Bennett sisters.
And that was always, of course, a really adorable moment, even if he's not a good one. Both of our hair looks fantastic. Good for us. Because Lord knows it's going to get really, really sweaty. But also, you know, as I've mentioned 11,000 times, we were on our own with our hair. I'm also on my own with my hair now, which is why I'm constantly touching it, because I can see myself and I'm never happy with it. I'm never happy with my hair. Oh, what are we really referencing? Mm-hmm. Well, then who could be telling the truth, Jane? The thing is, somebody has to be lying. It just happens that Lizzie is currently wrong about it. But if the two stories contradict, then how do we... She does indeed. Oh, am I dressed for the party? Is that why I'm wearing this dress?
Well, Mom is encircled in a trap made of the other parents. I'm with Wickham. Things will look good as long as Lydia doesn't come make a surprise attack. Outcome, we all have a good time. Got it?
I like the part where I finally get to spend an evening with Bing again. I didn't really follow the rest. Is that a chicken?
Ah, that is why that's what I remember.
Yeah, chicken. Look. Oh yeah, there's the head. Mm-hmm. Let's just have a good time. Good plan.
Okay, no, this is not the day of the party because I just checked. I remembered that I wore that dress in the Q&A as well. Q&A episodes are for patrons only. Second plug. But the concept there, I literally start the Q&A by saying, I'm filming this early because on Saturday we're going to Bing's party. Except that if I was posting it Saturday morning, then obviously I would have had to have filmed it on Friday. So I wouldn't have been filming it on Saturday anyway, and that's not a necessary excuse. But you know what? I don't know. Anywho, but I wear that same dress, and Wickham is in that Q&A, so I knew that I had double worn that dress, which was anthropology shock, shock, shock. And because I pulled up the schedule just now, I can tell you that this was the second episode we shot of the day, and the Q&A was the first episode we did. And in the Q&A, the lights are on, and in this episode they're not. So because of the heat, I think we turned off the overhead light. We turned off as much as possible because, I mean, we would have started shooting around 9 a.m. and already it was warm. It's funny because I am recording this now in the middle of a record-setting heat wave in Los Angeles, and it's about the same time of year. I mean, it's early September for me now, but it was late August when we filmed these on the very, very hot day. And in September we had air conditioning, so honestly it could still very well have been hot, but we were in a different building. But it would seem that turning off the lights was absolutely something that we did to manage the heat, because this is now the second time we had shot in very uncomfortably hot conditions. So we knew a little about what we were doing. I had the ice packs and we turned off the light. That was all we could do. We didn't have a lot. There was not a lot to be done. And between each episode, which usually was a 5 to 10 minute turnaround in which I just ran in the other room and changed what I was wearing, and sometimes made a minor change to my hair, or like put on a little bit, you know, more eyeshadow or a lipstick or something, you know, took a pee break, drank some water. But I do remember feeling rushed. I do remember there being, you know, kind of a, hey, are you ready yet kind of feeling. Look, nothing could happen until I was back on set, because with the exception of 4 episodes, they couldn't make any show without me, and none of those episodes are in this batch. So I do remember sometimes kind of feeling a little rushed, but at any rate, it was usually a 5 to 10 minute turnaround between episodes. So that's how long we had to run the AC. Like, I don't know that that significantly takes the edge off, but it was something. We did that. And I think if it did take the edge off, it didn't last long. But there was that effort made, and we ran it all during lunch. But they were difficult shooting circumstances. I mean, look, sometimes people have to shoot things out in the desert. You know, this isn't Tatooine. It's still just a bedroom. And actually, you know, this was Mar Vista, so it was ocean adjacent-ish. And it was very hot. It was very, very hot. And I know that we have talked about that a lot, and that seems maybe a little silly, but a couple things. One, we were pretending it wasn't hot. Our characters weren't hot. We didn't write in that there was a heat wave in California and that everyone was really hot and sweaty. Like, that would have worked maybe for some of the later in the day episodes, for us just to have kind of thrown in a line about like our AC broke or something to explain why we were so wet. So we had to pretend that we were not sweating profusely, but also like that kind of heat, fog, and fatigue. It does get very difficult to focus and to keep doing your job. You kind of naturally slow down. Your body wants to slow down and use less energy so it doesn't produce as much heat. So it's hard to keep that kind of energy up and keep that energy in your body when your body is just like very much wanting to lay still on the floor and not move at all. And also, like, it's hard to think. It's hard to think when it's that hot. You know that feeling when it's just so hot you can't think. And yet we needed very much to do the thinking. So it made these last 2 shoot days that we're talking about hard. They were our hardest days, I think, honestly. I mean, we'll see if I remember other things later about other shoot days, but these felt like hard days. They were hard, okay? But back to the actual story. We're setting up some very important plot things, right? We're setting up this party. We know, because we know ahead. We know some important things are going to happen in the Bing and Jane relationship. We know that Wickham's not going to show up at this party. We know that. He's not going to show. And that has its own impact on Lizzie and her feelings about who might be to blame for that. And gosh, now I can't even remember if do we include this in Lizzie Bennet Diaries? We'll find out. We'll get there and see if any reference of it is made. But the reason that the parents are invited to this party is because in the novel Pride and Prejudice, on which this series is based, there's that scene in which Mrs. Bennet does something embarrassing. Am I just thinking of the movie? Is that in the book? Look, you know I've read the book, but I haven't read the book for a decade. We've already established that. I haven't read the book for 10 and a half years at this point. So maybe you can tell me in the comments if Mrs. Bennet does something particularly embarrassing at that party in the novel, but she certainly does in the 2005 movie, which is the most accessible in my brain. And that's one of the things that Darcy can point to and go like, well, that's not a family that I want to be associated with. If only I didn't have these feelings. Poor Darcy. Poor Darcy. I'm just kidding. We don't feel bad for Darcy for that. We can feel bad for Darcy about other things, but we do not feel bad that he wishes he wasn't attracted to someone because he doesn't think their family is good enough. We have no pity on that front. Oh, and this is also the party with Jane's indiscretion, right? Which, as I recall, the show never defines. We'll find out. I think that we never did, and that Kate is the only one who ever came up with answers to that. Oh no, she fell down. Well, let's take a look at the comments, because by talking to the comments, I have someone to talk to. Desi Frezzi Casanto says, it's funny how Lizzie describes Wickham as a gentleman when he acts like a freaking fuckboy. True. The Cowboy's Daughter. It's an evocative name. 99% sure Lizzie gets her dramatics and planning skills from her mom. I know. I mean, look, it's just good writing. But Elizabeth Mullins, it's not like he's going off to war. Oh, all the subtle references. Yes, because in the novel, Wickham is in the militia, they say. He's in the militia. In 1813, when this novel was published, was there a war? Was England in conflict with someone, or maybe they were always in conflict with someone, because when you have an empire and people don't want you to own them, that there's conflict. I don't know. What I could Google this, but you could too. What's up with history? Mossy Ballerina says, is it possible there's someone who's actually unpleasant and not just tragically misunderstood? Yes, his name is George Wickham. We know that she wrote it that way on purpose. It's smart. It's frustrating. It's frustrating though. Tree Hugging Dork says, literally, Wickham is up there with Umbridge as one of the most hated fictitious characters of all time. I think that is probably true. I think that there are no Wickham defenders and no Umbridge defenders. But also that was, what, 7 years ago? So, very much speaks to the Harry Potter of the time, because now there are more hated figures related to Harry Potter. Juliana Pimentel says, imagine Darcy watching this and squirming all the way through, but suddenly having everything make a whole lot more sense. Yes, okay, but this time that you're imagining when Darcy is watching all of the videos all at once, he did just horrifically insult Lizzie and broke up Jane and Bing. So, he should feel bad. That's the thing. Everyone's like, oh no, Darcy feels bad. He should feel bad. It's gonna make him grow. Okay. Kimberly Bilal Music says, I've got people to do and things to see. Well played, writers, LOL. Yeah, that's a really good line. People don't call that out as much as I think they should, because it's just very subtle and telling. And oh wow, twice in a row, we've got one more time and I will kill you, George. Kill him, Lizzie, please, from Udi Kumra. And then Jeannie Ain says, Lizzie, do that one more time and I will kill you, George. Me, do it. Kill him. It's very violent, people's feelings towards George, but yeah, we know. We know why. We know it's not about Wes, or it's just a compliment to his incredible acting skills and the writing and all of it. It's good times. I have a feeling it's all going to work out, but it's going to get worse before it gets better. Thanks for joining me. for the Look Back Diaries.